We are 1 week away from the completion of the deadline to have all Senate bills heard on the House floor, and the House Democrats are still waiting to see some final details on a couple of the big issues of the day. That is the workers' compensation reform package and the income tax cut proposal that the governor and House and Senate Republicans are currently negotiating. We are in the House of Representatives, the House Democratic Caucus. We're anxiously awaiting the workers' compensation, House Bill 1062, to be placed on the floor calendar. It's my understanding, having visited with leadership in the House, that there are multiple amendments coming to Senate Bill 1062, on top of the amendments that were worked out before it was heard in Judiciary, which just illuminates the point that we've been making for weeks now. When the bill passed out of the state Senate, Senator Bingman said it was constitutional and it was a wonderful piece of legislation and should be voted on and passed by the House. And it wasn't but a few days later that constitutional issues arose and many amendments had to be made in order to get it passed out of Judiciary. And even those amendments apparently haven't satisfied even House Republicans, as they're looking to offer multiple new amendments when the bill hits the floor. There are significant problems with it, not the least of which is the fact that whatever comes out, in whatever form it is, whether it's opt-out or whether it's an administrative system, the fact remains the same, that if the House and Senate Republicans want to reform the workers' compensation system under the current proposal, they're going to do it by dramatically reducing benefits for folks who are hurt on the job at no fault of their own, and they will continue to find opposition within the House Democratic Caucus. The second issue, dealing with tax cuts, it's our understanding now that the governor and Republican leaders are very close to completing a compromise that would allow for the top income tax bracket to drop below 5%, either 4 3/4 or maybe a little bit higher than that, which would cost the state probably close to $160 million when fully implemented. We believe it's imprudent to be reducing revenues this year when education, healthcare, transportation, and public safety have been so dramatically cut over the last 5 years, and we believe it is even more so to cut income taxes prospectively a year and a half from now, when no legislative leader can guarantee us as to what the economic environment in the state will look like then. So to pass an income tax cut this year that won't take effect until 2015, when none of us can tell exactly what life will be like for Oklahomans at that year, we believe is fiscally irresponsible. And lastly, the House Democrats were saddened by Representative Johnson's comments yesterday during the debate of Senate Bill 550, and we are grateful that he took the time today to stand before the House of Representatives and offer up what we believe is a sincere apology. His comments were clearly offensive and were beneath the dignity of the House of Representatives, and his actions, we believe, are the restitution that's necessary to move us forward. And with that, I know there may be various other issues that you all want to visit about, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Talk about workers' comp and the tax cut, also the pay-as-you-go infrastructure program. The Speaker said today that all three of those are working toward a resolution. They expect an announcement early next week that the workers' compensation bill, which the House caucus is hearing about now, should be on the House Calendar Committee Monday. Wednesday. So Wednesday or Tuesday looks like this may be a culmination of the deal.
No, we anticipate the big battle over workers' compensation, at least in the House of Representatives, will take place Wednesday at some time, and we are currently discussing parameters for how long that debate will take, and we're trying to iron out all those details. But we know that we've all got Wednesday circled on our calendar as the day when this loggerhead will come to a resolution, at least on the House side.
Do you think you'll be successful in killing it or sending it back?
Well, I don't want to. I mean, I just said I can't imagine legislative leaders prognosticating for what the economic situation in Oklahoma will be a year and a half from now. And I can't prognosticate what the votes will be 5 days from now on the House floor when it comes to workers' comp either. But I do know, and I firmly believe, that as long as the opt-out provision is in the legislation, it jeopardizes the ultimate success of the bill.
Have you heard what amendments are likely to come out?
I haven't. I've visited with Republican leaders who are in charge of that bill, sort of shepherding it through the process, at least Republican leaders in the House, and they say there may be 10, 15, 20, 25 amendments potentially. There could be lots, but what those specifics are, they've yet to share with me.
If you put it 10, 20 minutes on the House floor, that's going to be a very long day.
It will be a long day. I have no doubt, or at least it'll be a long discussion. And the discussion now as to whether we want to offer up parameters at all or just sort of let it go and work the normal process, which could take 3 or 4 hours or more to deal with. So it'll definitely probably take a morning or an afternoon session just to deal with workers' comp. And I'll be honest with you, it should take at least that. This is significant legislation that has a dramatic effect on injured workers in Oklahoma. And if someone tried to short-circuit the process or speed up the process such that we couldn't ask the necessary questions and debate the major issues, that would be unfortunate. So.
Do you think people workers' comp is so complicated, it is an important issue for every worker? But are you here, when we talk to people are saying they don't know about it and it's too confusing to get involved in it?
It is.
How do you get people motivated to get involved?
Well, I mean, my main responsibility is to try to take the provisions that dramatically reduce benefits for injured workers and try to shine a light on those and say, here, this is why it's bad for people who get hurt on the job at no fault of their own. And then we also shine a light on the fact that they want to allow large corporations to opt out of the entire workers' compensation system. I mean, just understand the irony of what they're saying here. They're saying that the system is bad and we need to fix it. And so they're offering up a plan to fix the system. That's what their argument is. They say, we've got the solution to fix the workers' compensation problem in Oklahoma. And oh, by the way, despite the fact that we think this makes it really, really good, we think that we ought to let people get out of that system altogether. That's what they're arguing in the same piece of legislation. And when it comes to opt-out, when workers hear that they may be working for companies who provide little to no coverage at all in case they get injured on the job, and when Main Street businesses find out that their workers' compensation rates will increase by the mere fact of allowing companies to pull their employees out of the system, if we continue to hammer those issues home, we think that the public is with us. People want reform and they want lower workers' compensation premiums. We understand that. And that's the reason why my caucus proudly supported the governor's efforts in 2011 to overhaul the workers' compensation system. And we believe, as the governor said then, that those were the real reforms necessary to reduce costs. These changes simply reduce benefits for injured workers and will increase premiums for Main Street businesses.
What did you think about the audit report from the Oklahoma Department of Veterans Affairs and comment on it?
Well, I'm not surprised at all. It's a sad state of affairs to know that the men and women who put their life on the line to protect us in their time of need, we end up putting them in a facility that is understaffed, underfunded, and isn't to the quality that they deserve. And that both House Republicans and Democrats are working to try to remedy that problem, at least at one level, which is the oversight of it. But what you see at the veterans facilities in Oklahoma in terms of underpaying staff, that's just a microcosm of what we've seen as what we believe are overall Republican policies for the state when they continue to reduce benefits, when they continue to reduce funding for hospitals or fail to properly fund hospitals, fail to properly fund reimbursement rates for nursing homes, veteran centers. This is the type of problem that arises from that. And while the veterans deserve every bit of care and attention that we can give them, so do other senior citizens and other folks who are in medical need. And so we need to address this issue of staffing and funding as a whole, and hopefully we'll do that.